Taurus and wild boar people. So I'm doing something. I'm doing a little Celtic cross for you, and I've just seen a wild boar yesterday evening, and it's been 10 years that I've been waiting to see one. So I'm going to call everything wild boar for a moment. How you are internally, 5 of coins or pentacles, and how that makes you act on the outside. The star and the page of cups. That's lovely. And the basis of this reading, I'm going to go quite quickly because it's getting dark, is the 8 of Cups and something from the recent past for you. Taurus, wild boar, something from the recent past. 2 cards, the Knight of Wands and the 3 of Wands. And a potential outcome, 3 cards. 2 of Cups, 4 of Wands and an Ace of Swords. And something coming up in the near future. The Empress, lovely. And your attitude. Your attitude. The 8 of Swords. And your environment. The 4 of Pentacles. Your hopes and fears. Your hopes and fears. 7 of Swords. And where it's leading. 3 cards. The Hierophant, the Death card. 4 cards. The 9 of Swords and the High Priestess. Big energies for you. I'm not even going to count up the number of majors because there's lots of them. And there's lots of court cards as well. You're moving on from something. We can see that in the basis of the reading. And you're moving on with a little bit of trepidation. Your mind is quite engaged. There's a lot of swords. So, internally, you're feeling a bit out of sorts. You might need more money. You might need more connection to your community. You might feel out in the cold in some way. It's a needy card. It doesn't feel much fun. Lots of people in the world, I'm sure, are feeling a bit like that at the moment. Everything's very insecure. And how that makes you act on the outside is you're sort of delving into your imagination and looking for some healing in the star card, and then your imagination with this page of cups. I think you're almost risking escaping reality, but there is a good the star card is really trying to get proper healing, and just so long as you don't become too unrealistic and naive about that, I think that's fine. And I'm not saying you are. It's quite a wishy-washy energy when I see it with the Page of Cups. In the basis of the reading, you moving on from something you've loved very much by the light of the eclipse moon, not knocking those cups over, not dissing where you've been, but realising things have to change. And in the recent past, the Knight of Wands and the 3 of Wands. So that's you unleashing some energy creatively setting your sights towards something that you know you now want to go for, which is lovely. In a potential outcome, I love this. It's like partnership, marriage with very clear head. So it could be that you become partnered in a new venture with someone, or you partner with new ideas, but they're very clear, logical, very righteous. This is a really good partnership, a really sustainable marriage or partnership, and a great love. So I love that for you. And coming up in the near future, the Empress. She is your card. She's Venus along with Libra, but she's really the Taurus card because look at all that land around her. So I think you are going to feel pretty good in the near future. There's a feeling that you're in your own milieu and therefore able to create. So I love that. We're quickly, maybe healing quicker than I thought, but mentally you're still a little bit self-victimised. It's nonsense, really, what's going on here. It's not that thoughts don't have power, because they do, but it's you that's doing the harm with your thoughts. There's no actual reality to it. So you're still worried about that feeling of being out in the cold, I think. And in your environment, you're holding on for dear life to something that you've known. You're almost not wanting to allow this change that's happening in the basis of the reading. And your hopes and fears, you're frightened that you're going to give your power away somehow. You're frightened that this change is going to disempower you, that you're going to get the worst end of the deal, and that somehow you're not in your strength. But in the outcome, we see you are in the Hierophant, in the right place. This is you in a morally correct place with this sense of rebirth. You're still worried, you're still worrying at night, but your intuition, so you've got the sort of external correct form and the internal mysticism correct. And there is a rebirth with the death, but you're still a bit worried. Let's cap it quickly with a card from the Enchanted Forest Tarot and see if it can unlock this for us, because you're going somewhere good, but you're kind of holding on for dear life and to what has been, and worried very much, there's too many cards, that you're going to lose out, even though things seem to be quite correct. Yeah, another 9 of Challenges. It's saying everything at night looks worse than it really is, and you are worrying in that way. So why, and how can we unlock you? 9 of Challenges. Fear, nightmare, helplessness, the dark night of the soul. I think it's saying for me not to minimise how bad this has been for you. I think it's been quite a terrible, fearful moment in some ways, feeling this left out of your community. But what this card says is it isn't really about danger, it's about fear. The middle of the night terrors, when you're helpless to do anything but worry. At such vulnerable times, your fears can start multiplying faster than you can swat them away. The scariest thing in the night forest is the inability to move forward safely, not knowing what's nearby. You may be feeling fearful because you're unprepared and ill-equipped to handle your challenges. Face reality during the day so you don't need to flee at night. So I think it's saying to you, you've got the intuition of the High Priestess, and you're morally in a correct place for this rebirth. So just try and be disciplined about when you think about what's going on so that you don't get too overwhelmed. And then let's just have one card from the two from the Shining Tribe Tarot by Rachel Pollock. We've got the 2 of Trees and the 7 of Rivers. So the 7 of Rivers I've seen recently, and I can't remember for the life of me which one that is. So they're basically a version of the tarot, but done through the lens of sort of indigenous wisdom. They're very lovely. So in brief, the 7 of Rivers talks about fantasies, inspiration, wondrous journeys, wild stories, daydreams, difficult telling fantasy from reality. It can indicate a state where we find our thoughts so filled with possibilities we find it hard to choose or make the things that we actually want to have happen. So it's like the 7 of Cups, but it also feels a bit sort of fanciful, like that 9 of Swords. So it says fantasies here do not mean only the grand myths and the fairy tales. They can also be personal fantasies, everything from daydreams to success or romance to scary thoughts that keep us awake at night. Either way, it's valuable to recognise these images are not connected to outer reality. If we want them to become real, we'll have to take action. If they fill us with anxiety, the card can help us understand that they're projections and not objective dangers. That's 2 cards in a row telling you that. And you've got the 8 of Swords. So I really want you to get this, that actually there is no objective danger. You have to get a little bit under control with your thoughts. And it comes with the 2 of Trees. Breakthrough. Listen to the bells. New beginnings, opening to a higher level of awareness, friendship, union. So this is like that Two of Cups that we see in your potential outcome. Lovers who may have broken up but will come back together again. And here we say, the trees here form a gate that opens to a new experience. The sun lights the water beyond the trees so that we see what looks like a golden pathway. The image suggests a gateway, a movement in our lives when we feel opportunities open before us. The sun is actually setting, as if the gate opens because one phase of life has ended. That's a bit like in the death card where we see the sun coming up again after the end of something. The roots of the trees touch like secret lovers. People may seem at odds or even seem to recoil from each other, but something bonds them together. The branches at the top reach back towards each other. We might compare this card to the awakening, the two trees acting as the opposites that join together and the woman as the new consciousness. That's so beautiful. So it's saying once you get on top of this worry, you will be able to break through. The woman recalls many indigenous nations who lived along the Hudson before the European conquest. The contemporary revival of their teachings has reopened spiritual awareness of nature. She wears a tattered dress. We can think of this as emphasising spiritual rather than material values. We might also say that the old level of experience lies in tatters and we will soon take on new robes. A hole on the left of her dress reveals the curve of her back and hip, a shape that matches the line of the mountains. The subtle pairing reminds us that the link between our bodies and the earth. So it's saying after you get control of those thoughts, then comes the rebirth, which is just lovely. And I'm just going to take a few little Rider-Waite's to see what we've got. Yeah, it's saying focus on the Page of Wands. We've got another Four of Pentacles like you had before. Okay, that's interesting. So in your environment where you want to hold on there, which we had this one in your environment, the Four of Coins, it's saying actually use these two youthful energies. The energy of, gosh, what's that noise? Interesting bird. Can you hear it? Never heard that before. How lovely. It's saying that in order to escort this gentleman here who's so determined not to let go and not to allow this transformation because of the fears, try to become friends with these two energies, these two youthful energies of the page who can sort of flank this character and bring him into his rejuvenated period, experience of life. And this is the page of excitement and a million ideas. So use your creativity, awaken to that, because as a Taurian you will be incredibly creative, and you bore people, no doubt. We're all creative. But try and get involved in those kind of ideas, those that spark your attention, because he's got a lot of those. And then really learn about where you're going and where you want to go, where you've set your sights in that Three of Wands. Use your earthy nature and your ability to concentrate, to just drill down and take all of that excitement and make it feel solid and real and safe and earthy. And then maybe some of your fears will start to fade away. But you're on your way to somewhere beautiful, and use your intuition. It's all going to be okay. There's just a new dawn, and it doesn't always feel that good, but we all have to go through those times. See you again. Bye.